From WFRB TV Local 5, your local election headquarters. This is Newsmakers Sunday with your host, Tom Zaleski.
Good morning. Welcome to Newsmakers Sunday. I'm Tom Zaleski. The Wisconsin Legislature will begin debate over the next 2-year state budget. This is Governor Tony Evers' first budget since taking office in January, and cover state spending beginning on July 1st and then lasting until June 30th of 2021. The Democratic governor has called this spending plan, quote, the people's budget, with the Joint Finance Committee writing the specifics of this $81.5 billion plan. And next week, the Wisconsin Assembly votes, followed by the state Senate before the legislation heads to the governor's desk for his approval. And joining us to discuss the process of creating a state budget, we've got the privilege of being joined by Joint Finance Committee co-chair, Representative John Nygren of Marinette. John, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Good to be with you, Tom.
We know this is a super busy time of the year for you. From what we just talked about with the Governor Evers and the budget, can you just give us an overall, how does this process work?
Well, whether it's Governor Evers or Governor Walker before him, the governor has the first kick at the can. Basically, he writes the budget, then sends it over to the legislature, and the legislature that's our opportunity to reshape the budget, consistent with the principles that we have. And then at the end of the day, the budget then passes both out the legislature and goes to the governor's desk, and he has a very powerful veto pen that he can reshape it in many ways.
So you've done this a time or two. How has this process now differed under Tony Evers as opposed to when you did it under Scott Walker?
Well, I think the biggest change is obviously being that it was Republicans had both the governor and both houses of the legislature as well. We now have a Democrat governor. We weren't in the room when the budget was being crafted, so obviously he got his preferences in the budget first, and now we've been very careful when taking a review of his budget. One of the biggest issues we have to be concerned about as a legislature is how he can reshape it. He gets the last kick at the can as well by using that very powerful veto pen. A traditional budget in Wisconsin has about 1,200 to 1,500 pages of text. This budget only has 511 pages because we were very concerned about giving him basically too many words in the document to be able to reshape it or play mischief with what our intent is.
All right, we're going to hear from Governor Evers. One of the biggest topics on the mind of the public is the road improvements, the funding for road improvements. Governor Evers is in favor of an 8-cent per gallon gas tax while eliminating the minimum markup law. Here is what he had to say about that item in Madison last week.
Our solution doesn't force Wisconsinites to pay the entire bill with massive fee increases. By proposing a small increase in the gas tax, less than a dime, we can ensure that drivers from Minnesota and Illinois who use our roads are paying their fair share. The $6.6 billion investment made in this budget to transportation needs is larger than ever before, while authorizing the lowest amount of new bonding for highway purposes in the last 2 decades.
Governor Tony Evers. The Joint Finance Committee, though, has a different idea on all of this, how Wisconsinites pay for all of this. Joint Finance Committee suggesting Wisconsinites pay an extra $10 to register their vehicles and adding an additional $95 for a car title. How would that process work?
So the average citizen in Wisconsin buys a car about every 5 to 6 years. Actually, I believe RL Polk says about every 71 months, so just a little bit short of 6 years. So our proposal, raising it $95, that is a big increase. However, if you look at it over the course of the 5 to 6 years, almost 6 years, it's about $15 to $16 a year of an increase. Whereas the gas tax proposal, there's 2 problems with the gas tax proposal. First of all, the governor automatically builds increases every 2 years based on CPI. If you're elected to lead, you actually should stand up and have to say, yes, I support a tax increase every 2 years rather than automatically building it in. And second, the problem is that with more electric vehicles, I drive a hybrid, there's more fuel efficient cars on the road, more electric vehicles. We actually will see that the gas tax will not keep pace with the inflationary costs of our transportation system. So that's one of the problems with a gas tax only solution. So we believe that $15 to $16 a month versus the average citizen under a 10-cent gas tax increase would pay about $60 a year. So ours actually has a lower cost to the citizens of the state of Wisconsin, but still accomplishes the goals of improving our transportation system.
And the governor says that we, Wisconsinites, shouldn't be the only ones who are paying for our roads. Is he wrong on that?
Actually, I don't personally disagree with him on that. However, in government, we have to be able to get votes to be able to pass a budget. And in the past, I've advocated for looking at other ways of passing on those costs to out-of-state drivers. One of the things that's in this budget is actually a study. We're asking the Department of Transportation to look at other ways and moving into the future how we might be able to fund our transportation system. Could it be tolling? Could it be a vehicle miles traveled? More and more technology in the future is going to provide us more opportunities and different opportunities to fund our transportation system, actually based on the miles you drive rather than just a flat amount.
Your view, sir, on eliminating the minimum markup law on the sale of gasoline?
That's actually an idea that we as Republicans in the Assembly actually put forward 2 years ago. However, the Fiscal Bureau, who actually scores everything when it comes to the state budget, actually said they couldn't score it, that it actually would save consumers any money at the pump. So while it is possibly a good selling point and actually a free market concept that I'm supportive of, it wouldn't necessarily deliver any savings or any dollars to actually fund our transportation system.
Let me turn to health care. Republicans and Democrats differing opinions, obviously, on the Affordable Care Act. It's been that way for years now. The governor wants to tap into federal funding to expand Medicaid. He says it'll help to cover more people who are uninsured. And here is what he had to say about that issue.
Just today, the Department of Revenue announced that Wisconsin taxpayers are already paying $1 billion per year to other states to expand their Medicaid program. I don't know about you, but I think it is time to bring those dollars back to Wisconsin to fund health care right here.
All right, the Joint Finance Committee decided to go another way on that issue. Describe the alternative plan for
Sure. We actually are tapping into federal resources, but we're actually not expanding welfare to do that. The Medicaid program, that's what it was originally intended to be. First, I would say under Governor Walker, Wisconsin, for the first time ever, actually covered everybody in poverty, up to 100% of the federal poverty level. What Governor Evers is proposing is that we expand that from 101 to 138%, that those folks actually go on to Medicaid. It's a little known fact, but actually here in Brown County, through the exchange, you mentioned Republicans and Obamacare. It's not something I'm necessarily a huge fan of, but under the federal exchange, a person between 101 and 138% of poverty can actually purchase insurance with a $50 annual deductible for 18 cents a month. And so it is already considerably affordable for the average citizen, and at the same time, that is a private pay insurance rate. You're actually reimbursing hospitals and doctors based on cost, not based on a government rate, which actually pays pennies on the dollar, about 65 cents on the dollar for cost. So by going the Governor Evers route, you're actually shifting more and more people onto this government program that actually drives up costs for other citizens. So in an environment where the economy is as strong as it is, jobs are as available as they are, we want to foster an economy that actually drives people to the world of work. They do have coverage already, so let's not expand our welfare rolls when it's not necessary.
This has been such a tough issue. Neither side seems to want to give an inch on this. Could this hold up the whole budget process?
I think it could, but if you actually look at what the budget we actually put together, I think we make it very difficult for Governor Evers to say no. The different priorities he ran on, education funding, we've got over $600 million in funding, a $604 per pupil increase over the 2 years. We increase special education funding to 30% in the second year. That's a 22% increase. That's actually what he asked for in his last budget as DPI Secretary. And oh, by the way, that $604 increase, that actually is consistent with what he called a kid-friendly budget 2 years ago. On Medicaid, we address the real concerns that our citizens have when it comes to health care. Medicaid is under-reimbursed, as I've talked about, so we actually pump funds into those areas that are most under-reimbursed. Nursing homes that are closing at an alarming rate in our state. Personal care workers, direct care workers, people that are actually providing services to our elderly and our disabled. because our economy is so good, you can go get a job at a place like Quick Trip for $12 to $14 an hour, yet we're only unfortunately paying those workers in those facilities a similar rate. So tough work, we should pay them better. We're actually pumping resources in to do that. So I believe we're addressing many of the same priorities he had. He had a middle-class tax cut. We have a middle-class tax cut. At the end of the day, I think it's going to be very, very difficult for him to say no to this budget.
We continue with State Representative John Nygren right after this. Please stay with us.